we also went to the cinema to see, and we mentioned this in the last podcast.
Yeah, we did. And this is where I'm going to get energized again, because A Quiet Place Day One. I was going into that film. We went to see it. We mentioned it in the last podcast, didn't we? Oh, I was excited to watch it.
You were, and I tried to give you a level head.
Yeah.
And we're like, draw back your expectations just slightly.
But
still.
Did it surpass or match your expectations? Or was it not as good as your expectations?
It surpassed them in certain ways, and I was also kind of disappointed in others.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I actually found it a difficult watch because of the concept of the main character, spoiler alert, played by Lupita Nyong'o.
Yeah.
And her, like, she has this, like, constant feeling of, constant thoughts of death, her own death, because she's dying, right? She's got cancer as a character.
Yeah.
Well, we think we do. We don't know actually what she's got. I don't think it's...
I think it is cancer.
Did she reveal it at the end?
Yeah,
I couldn't remember if she did
cancer.
or not. But
it's not really a spoiler either.
No.
You know it within the first 10 minutes of the film.
Yeah, and I just as a concept, it was quite. Obviously, it's going to be emotional, but it was also somber.
Morbid.
Melancholy and somber, I think, is the right word, especially when she's going around New York at the start of the film. I'm glad it took that opportunity to do that, because you don't get a lot of horror films, I don't think, that embrace melancholy. I think they embrace kind of fear, don't they? And there is a lot of fear and tension in this film, but I just think it added another layer to the story and to the characters, because everybody is facing their death in this apocalyptic monster invasion, yet to her she's already dead. So it's a new kind of character, I thought, that changed the dynamic of the film a bit.
100%. I haven't actually seen. I haven't seen that in another film before, and I loved that perspective.
Yeah, I thought she did a great job.
But other horror films as well, they don't really embrace the emotional side to their concept. They, like you said, they embrace the fear and the scares, and sometimes that, like with In a Violent Nature, with the acting, it can come across as quite comedic.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I liked the moments with the monsters in this where they did appear, but the moments of quiet in between were so emotional and like raw.
Yeah.
I thought they were so well done. There's a scene where Lupita Nyong'o and what's his name?
Is it Chris?
No. He plays the man. Images have just been released of Gladiator 2 where he's playing the Emperor.
Yeah, we'll get onto that.
He looks nuts. And he's playing the Human Torch. I want to say Evan Peters. But
Joseph Quinn.
Yeah, Joseph Quinn. He absolutely shined as well. I thought his performance was great.
Brilliant.
Like, there's a scene where they are together in
her
New York apartment, and there's a storm going on outside, and the performances are just great.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, the score really married well with their performances.
Yeah.
It really brought a tear to my eye. That scene gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
I haven't had a film give me goosebumps multiple times, by the way, throughout the film. I haven't had a film give me goosebumps in a while.
Yeah.
And when that when this film,
there were a few moments when they were in the pub and they were eating pizza.
Yeah, just moments, and that surpassed my expectations. I went into this film thinking we're going to get a loud disaster movie, and we got an emotional one, and it surpassed my expectations in that sense.
And I was wondering how they were going to do it in New York with the monsters, how they have them going up skyscrapers and buildings and all sorts of different things like that. But it's really the special effects in it are really fantastic.
They're really good.
Like, I know we always like to talk about practical effects, and there are good practical effects in the film, obviously for the aliens, but some of the CGI work is some of the best I've seen in a good while.
Yeah, I think normally in horror films, when you see the monster, the tension's gone. But with these types of creatures in this world, that's just not the case.
It's because
they're just
they are
terrifying.
so alien. It's because they look
They're so
different,
brutish.
they're otherish. Like
Yeah.
they move with limbs that are like contorted and long, and they.
But
look
they're
very
loud
different.
and they're strong. They're like
Yeah.
gorillas, aren't they?
Yeah, but also
Menacing.
they're not mammals or reptiles. You don't know
No.
what they are. They're alien.
They're
Like,
just so menacing and brutish.
And one of the things I liked is that they added very subtly to like the lore of these creatures. There was something about the kind of growth process,
or eggs
something they were
or
consuming
food.
or eggs, and you don't know what it is, which is great because it leaves that. And I hope we don't get it fleshed out for us.
Yeah,
The fact that they come on asteroids, I think, is
but
is
that scene,
weird and uncanny.
that scene in particular, felt like it was just tacked on
I don't think
in the middle of it. Like what?
Maybe,
There was no
maybe
real
they wanted
blending
to do
within that
something.
scene.
But that was
I-
because of the cat. He was
but-
trying to rescue the
But
cat.
I'm
wasn't
wondering
he?
whether that was tacked on because they have an idea for part 3
Maybe.
to explore that.
Maybe
element.
I say I don't want to know too much about the creatures, but I do want to progress in this world and see what happens because they did in A Quiet Place Part 2 and 1 find out ways to kill these things and stop these things.
Yeah.
But because it happens so fast, like it's great to see how they so quickly descend into chaos.
But for me, the thing that disappointed me slightly was, and Jeremy Johns actually in his review touches on this, is that when the chaos starts, she's knocked out, and it's quickly like, oh, everyone knows to be quiet. Instantly.
It reminded me of of Game of Thrones season 2, where Tyrion gets knocked out and the whole battle happens and you don't see it.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's what I wanted to go into this film seeing. I wanted to see the absolute chaos. And we
Yeah.
did get it. We did get it, like eventually when
But
all the people started moving through the
I
street.
think that was kind of explained afterwards by having the helicopters with the speakers. They've clearly been telling people.
Yeah, no.
projecting
I understand that, but it's just that we missed a whole, an epic sequence. We missed it, but we did get it in the end with the people walking in the street and everything getting louder. Me and you turned to each other and were like, oh, the footsteps, they're too loud, they're too loud,
When
they're too loud.
all turned out, it was like a big horde of people. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And when all the creatures first ran past as well, we looked at each other, we were like,
Holy
oh my God.
shit.
I think it was a great film. I
it,
mean,
it evoked reactions out of us.
yeah.
And obviously, since starting this podcast, it was like, oh, we don't want to be reacting.
But I think if we react,
But it made us
if
react.
we react to A Quiet Place Day 1 on the channel, I wouldn't have been as emotively or emotionally involved with the characters, and that's what it was. The first time I've been to the cinema in ages, and I just felt emotional watching the film.
Yeah.
All different sorts of emotions: fear, tension, sadness, joy. I that's what it was about for me. We got stacks, we got nachos, we got pick and mix. It was the cinema experience. It was great.
And I just want to call out Chris Stuckman for a second. Obviously, he'll never see this video.
Did he not enjoy the film?
No, he did enjoy it, but he mentioned something that I just disagree with. He mentioned that he wasn't as emotionally invested in this movie or the characters because the first couple of films is centered around a family, and it's easy to grow an attachment to this family because then they're nurturing the kids and the newborn and the wife and the father and the mother. It's easy to be emotionally invested in those characters because of their relationship with one another. And in this new movie, you didn't have that. But
I completely disagree with that.
Yes, you don't have that relationship dynamic. But what's more powerful is the fact two strangers meet and grow a relationship.
And that's what drew them together. It was loneliness.
Yeah.
Her because of family.
Yeah.
And actually, spoilers, I think we've mentioned that already. But when at the end of this film, she looks at that photograph of her and her father.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That was the most emotionally strong part of the film. And the fact that in all this chaos, these two people find each other.
And they help each other. Selflessly.
She doesn't want to be involved with them at first at all.
Yeah.
And there's that growth there.
Yeah.
You get far more investment, I think, and growth because they could resemble you as characters, couldn't they?
It's such
one person that is lost in the chaos.
It's
He's
such
not-
a relatable
yeah,
experience.
She's lost and alone because of her dying. He's lost and alone because he's not even from the country.
No, exactly.
And he's alone. His family are back in England, and he mentions his family.
He does, yeah.
And he cries for his family.
Yeah.
I couldn't disagree more.
Yeah, it's such a powerful. I say powerful. I emphasize the word powerful. It's such an emotionally powerful thing to develop two strangers into, these two strangers that eventually care for one another because they have nothing else.
Yeah.
They have nothing else, and so they're attracted to one another. I guess. I disagree with Chris.
My last question for you, yeah, I do as well. My last question for you though is: did you enjoy it more than A Quiet Place 1 or 2?
No, I haven't seen A Quiet Place 1 and 2 in a while.
They kind of merge into one film.
They
I know they're
do.
called Part 1 and Part 2, but they do carry on very quickly after.
They
one another.
do. They do. I cannot remember 1 and 2 being so emotionally impactful.
No,
I remember the ending of number
yeah.
1 with obviously John Krasinski's.
Bit of a slow burn, I thought. There were more moments of that kind of being very quiet and being
there was
still
more.
and
It was more
tension
tense.
there.
It was more tense, I guess. But even John Krasinski's sacrifice at the end of the first one didn't hit as hard for me than the storm scene in this movie.
I actually thought the director of this film had more ideas. I know the story was written partly by John Krasinski as well, but the director, in terms of the framing of some scenes, some of the shots that he got of the city, of the characters, of even like lighting, the storm, I just think it was a little bit more sophisticated.
There was a lot
of
religious subtext in this movie.
Yeah, I
and
think
imagery.
It was more about hope, wasn't it?
Yeah,
hope and faith, perhaps.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked it more.
What did you think to the ending shot? We won't reveal what the ending shot was, but did you think that was off the cuff? It was a bit offbeat.
It was a bit tonally offbeat.
Yeah.
I get the meaning behind it. It's her defiance, her final final choice, or the final thing that she has the power to do, which I liked. But I would have just preferred the noise of it landing rather than the actually seeing of it.
Because I think they played some like heavy rock music afterwards.
Yeah, I get that. I do get that. That was again her defiance, wasn't it? But I think just her face, and hearing the creature, we didn't need to.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tonally a bit weird.
Tonally, it was a little bit weird, but overall, I thought the movie was great, and I'd probably jump to see that one before part 1 and part 2.
Yeah. I'd love to see stories in different locations. Could you imagine how screwed we'd be in this country? Well, in the countryside, in the
Chris Stuckman's
in
review,
London.
he said he would love to see those people that go on to like a retreat, like in the middle of the woods, no reception, no internet, and then they come back and it's just like, what's going on? And then they just get fucking eaten because they have no idea what's going on.
They'd just be dead straight away. There's a great character in this that I really liked, which was the nurse at the hospice that she was at, and I was really invested in his character.
Yeah,
bop, just like that.
Now this is a heavy spoiler, I guess. Talk on.
We have already said that.
Yeah, we've said multiple times, so
we'll have to put that in the video as well.
Definitely.
There's a spoiler talk, but.